welcome to the Knits and Beads podcast, episode 11. I'm your host, Lorelei Erdo. I'm a jewelry designer who knits in her free time. And I'm coming at you from upstate New York, central New York State, actually, if you're a new viewer. This podcast is predominantly a knitting podcast, a little jewelry thrown in because it's my full-time gig. You can find me on Instagram as Lorelei Erdo and Ravelry also as Lorelei Erdo. My website is loreleierdojewelry.com and my Etsy store is loreleierdojewelry.etsy.com. We do have a Ravelry group for the podcast. You can find that on Ravelry by clicking the tab at the top, the Groups tab, and do a search for Knits and Beads podcast. I don't have too many members at this point. I'm a fairly new podcaster, so if you feel like joining, please do so. I have a couple threads right now. One is for introducing yourself, so if you're new to the podcast group, go ahead and let us know who you are, or where you're from, and what you do, and how you got started knitting if you feel like talking about that. And then I also have the giveaway thread. Last week, if you are a returning viewer, would have seen that I giving away a beautiful project bag from my friend Christy of 1234 Handmade. This is the bag that I'm giving away. It has a nice little grommet on the front for your yarn to come through. It's got a nice boxy bottom, beautiful interfacing, a teal interior, and nice little measuring tape ribbons to cinch it closed. In order to enter the giveaway, viewers would have gone onto the Ravelry group thread and answer the prompt, which I believe was, how did you get started knitting? Or how did you get started doing jewelry? Since I have followers from both genres, I figured I would open it up to both, just to see how people got started. And it's been interesting to read some of the comments so far as that thread is concerned, and that's where I'm going to go ahead and draw the name. Okay, so out of the thread, I see that we have 11 people who have entered to win the giveaway. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Siri to choose one of those 11 people by choosing a random number, and then I'll read the comment that was left. So let's see. Siri, choose a number between 2 and 11.
3.
3. Okay. Number 3 was Marian Sandy. Marian Sandy. Mariansande. Hi, nice podcast. I got into knitting after crocheting for a little while. I figured if I could teach myself how to crochet, I could probably figure out how to knit too. So I did. Best wishes from Norway. Fantastic. Congratulations to you. You have won my little gift, first giveaway on the podcast. So go ahead and message me on Ravelry, and I will get your address from you then and get this out in the mail to you. And I'm so excited. So congratulations, and thank you all for playing along. I'm going to do this again soon because I love to give things away. So, yay. All right, so I'm going to go right into the knitting segment. I have one finished object. No, I have two finished, technically 3 finished objects. The first thing is a gift. This is going to be a birthday gift for a friend of mine who shares my birthday. And she is one of my best friends in the area. And when I started knitting this, I knew it was going to go to her. Just something about it spoke to me, and basically this is it. So it's actually a cowl. It's called the Bugatti Cowlette by, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, so I apologize, Tyga Hilliard Designs. And it's a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. I believe it was a $6 pattern. And I fell in love with it because it was enough yardage from one skein of sock yarn. And I wanted to knit up this junk yarn that I had purchased online from Kemper Ray. This is her Frida colorway. This is the rest of what I have left. It's actually a pretty good amount, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. The cowl did not take that much yarn at all. And what I love about the yarn is it's really summery. The colors are just very summery. And I wanted something really lightweight and nice for the summer. So I know that my friend will be able to wear this throughout the warmer seasons, which is nice. And I really enjoyed this pattern a lot. Like, I really highly recommend it. It was really fun. Now, the shape is a little bit odd, as you can see. It is kind of strange, but it's not weird once you have it on. I'm going to insert a picture here so that you can see what it looked like on the model on the pattern page. The idea was that it fits over the shoulders. And I don't know if maybe I did my bind off a little bit too tight, but I am way too big for this to fit. And it might fit my friend because she's literally, a lot smaller than me. But this will not fit down over my shoulders. I'm going to put it on so you can see what it looks like. Here's how I would wear it. And I would just tuck that in. Like that. It's cute, right? It's so lightweight, doesn't even feel like I have anything on. I am absolutely going to make this again for myself with another skein of yarn. I have not picked out that skein yet, but eventually I'm going to do it again. I just really loved the stitches on this. I'm not going to give too much away. It looks like drop stitches. It's not. And it's got some garter in there, which is nice. And it really shows off this nice speckly yarn just really perfectly. So I am really digging that pattern a lot, and I'm excited to give it to my friend. I think she's going to love it. I hope she's going to love it. I think she will love it. So again, this is junk yarn, her smooth sock base, and this is the Frida colorway. And I actually just placed an order, which I'll mention later in the acquisitions segment at the end, but I bought another skein from her, so I'm excited to get that. It's shipped. Now, I'm just going to go on a little tangent here and talk about how this yarn I was going to put into socks. Actually, I bought 2 skeins of it. I bought 2 skeins and I was going to do a shawl. And then when I got it, I thought that I didn't really like the idea of this yarn in a shawl. So I thought, all right, well, I'll make socks. So what to do with the second skein? Well, I ended up sending it to another podcaster friend, Stacy Elstone of Stress Knits. Had mentioned in a previous podcast how she tried to get a skein of junk yarn in this Frida colorway and was carjacked. And I have been in that situation, and it is a real bummer. So I just wanted to send her my extra skein, so I did. And we're doing a little bit of a swap, so she's going to send me a skein, and I'll show that off when I get it in the mail. But she was really, really pleased, and as far as I know, she has made socks with her skein, so I'll be really anxious to see how hers knit up in socks. The reason why I didn't make socks, I tried 3 times to do socks, and I just cannot get the hang of socks. I don't know. I think I know the problem. The problem is I absolutely detest ribbing, and it has to do with the way that I knit and purl. I just don't like that back and forth knitting and purling. I have not been able to master doing. I am usually a thrower or a flicker. I'm kind of in between both, and I have a hard time purling when I'm holding the yarn in my right hand. I just cannot get the hang of it, and I have tried to knit with the yarn in like continentally, and I can't seem to do that either. So I feel like that whole ribbing process is a real it's a real issue for me, and I can't seem to get past it, so it's a bummer. I would love to be able to knit socks. I would knit socks if I didn't have to do ribbing, I think. Maybe if it was just a, stacking that all the way to the top and then just had the top curl. I don't know. I mean, I guess I need to have someone teach me in person how to do that knitting and purling, because I've watched a million videos on YouTube and online, and it looks so easy, and I think I can do it, and then I just end up being like, so I can't. I just can't do it. So yeah, ribbing is a bear for me, so that's why I'm not a sock knitter at this point. What is it about podcasting that makes my nose run? So annoying. So, okay, my other finished object is not knitting, it's actually crochet. I have a new friend online. My friend Nancy introduced her to me. She had a couple videos up on YouTube and I watched them. She is hysterically funny. Her name is Lou, and her business name is called Yarntistry. And she's from the UK, and she did a nice little tutorial. She makes little crocheted collectibles, basically. And a lot of the shapes that she does are like little cactus shapes, and she puts them in little clay pots, and she sells the majority of her artwork on Facebook. So if you want to follow her, you can find her updates there at Yarntistry on Facebook. And she's under the same name on YouTube, and I really highly recommend you looking her up because her videos are fantastic. She is so funny. I am in stitches every time I watch. Well, she did this cute little tutorial, her first tutorial on how to make these little ice cream cones. And so I followed her tutorial. They're keychains, and they turned out so stinking cute. Can you stand it? The cuteness right now. That's the first. This is the second one. They're just so cute. I just love them. So they have little eyes, little safety eyes. They're knit in 2 pieces. So first you do the ice cream, and then you do the cone, and then you stitch them together and stuff them. They've got stuffing inside. And really easy little keychain attached to the top using a jump ring. And I just really enjoyed making them. They were just so fun. I'm going to be sending these to my niece and nephew in Connecticut because I just think they'll get a kick out of them. And I'm going to totally make more because I think they are just so adorable. And of course I need one for myself. So this one I used Madeline Tosh Vintage on the top, and the bottom is a Lion Brand. I think it's a Lion Brand Wool Ease that I got at my local Joann Fabrics. It's the closest color that I could find for cone, I guess. And I liked it with the yarns that I picked out. This is also Madeline Tosh. This is the DK. This is the yarn I used in my shawl that I showed you last week, the Vera Valimaki shawl. And I just loved it. It looked kind of like sprinkles. It's like kind of multicolored and sprinkly looking. So super fun. You know, if you need a break from knitting, I recommend this little tutorial for these keychains. They are just so cute. And of course, now I want to knit all the little foods or crochet all the little foods. So that is that. As for works in progress, I don't have anything to show you today. I am just slogging along on my same 3 projects that I've been working on. That I keep mentioning every week, and I know you're probably bored to death of listening to me talk about how I'm still working on the Southern Spirit Shawl by Joji Locatelli. It's coming along. I still have about an arm's length left to knit. I worked on it a little bit this morning. I'm doing my Jessie Girl Cardi. It's a short sleeve cardigan, open cardigan. And I've only got about that much knit from the bottom. So still working on that. And then the test knit that I am doing for a special friend. She has been really great to answer all of my questions. I have sent her a million messages with a lot of issues that I was having with certain things, and I got to a point recently where I'm starting another texture section, and I'm getting these little ladders where the stitch markers are, and I'm not sure why I am getting that, and I don't like the look of the ladders. So what's going to have to happen is that I need to pull back about 3 rows of knitting. And I am so scared to do that. I have to be in the right state of mind in order to do that so that I can stay calm and not freak out. I get really, 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 I get a lot of anxiety when I have to rip back knitting. I just have not had very good luck in the past with ripping out and then getting the stitches back on the needles. It's really hard for me. So I have yet to conquer that, and I am hoping to do that within the next few days so that I can get going, because I think once I can get the hang of that section, it will go fairly quickly and I'll be done. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I have to rip it back, just like I have to, because I just don't like how that looks, and I don't want to put forward a shoddy product when I'm test knitting something. In other test knitting news, I've been asked to test knit another shawl pattern from another designer, an up-and-coming brand new designer, and I'm still thinking about it. You know who you are if you're watching. I'm thinking about it just only because I have another test knit on the needles, and I know you said you wanted it done in a month, so I'm trying to decide if I can really take that on at this point. I hope I can, but I'm just going to take a little bit more time to think about it today. So that's really all I'm working on at this point. I want to do another one of these cowls for myself, so that only took me a couple days to finish, so I might get that started here soon. And I'm not sure what else I'm going to work on next. I have, been favoriting everything on Ravelry, as I do. Hopefully I can make a decision. It seems like it's been increasingly harder and harder to pick a pattern to do. I always feel a little bit of anxiety because there are so many out there, and I want to make the right choice for the right yarn. You know, it's all kind of a kismet type of thing, so it's interesting. Anyway, let me go and talk a little bit about acquisitions. I recently picked up a copy of Amarisu. I think it's Amarisu. Now that I'm looking at it, Ami-Isu. Maybe it's Ami-Isu. That's a little squirrel. Is he supposed to be an R? I'm not sure. This is a Japanese magazine, and I actually ordered it from their Etsy store. And it took about a week and a half or so to get to me. It is such a gorgeous magazine. I have looked at it a little bit online, just like little snippets that I found online, but in person it's just really great. I love all of the patterns in here. It's very Japanesey. It's a lot of very modern knitting, and the articles are really great, talking about just different designers and different yarn dyers, and then it's got a handful of projects. And in this particular issue, I haven't really picked anything specific out that I want to knit at this point, but there are some really nice things. Like, it's just some of the photography is just beautiful. So I got a copy of that. I would love a subscription to this. I may just do that, actually. I think it comes out 4 times a year. This is issue 10, spring and summer for 2016. Love it. I was watching Shannon's Socksetera podcast, and she mentioned a couple episodes ago about some lavender sachets from an Etsy seller, and her name is Nikki Slip. It's nikkislip.etsy.com. I will put the name in the show notes for you so you can look that up. Nikki makes little patchwork lavender sachets. This is her awesome recycled packaging, by the way, which I love, and I just wanted to show that to you because it's so cool. But you can see she uses different fabrics, and the fabrics are fabrics that she has in her stash. Some are leftovers from pieces of clothing that she's made, or scraps of other things, and she uses organic lavender. And I wanted these for my little project bags, just to give my projects a little beautiful scent, and I just love them. So thank you, Nikki. These are awesome. These were Shannon's recommendation, and I can be talked into buying anything, basically. So if you have the need for lavender sachets, go check out nikkislip.etsy.com. Okay, as for yarn, I got some yarn in a swap that I did recently. It was called the Wish You Were Here swap for the Snappy Stitches podcast with Chrissy, and I was paired up with gosh, I didn't write her name down, but I believe it's Karen. And she's from Australia, and she sent me if you follow me on Instagram, you would have probably already seen the photo. I actually don't have everything here. I only brought the yarn to show you today, but she sent me a Melbourne, Australia coffee mug, a Starbucks mug. She sent me some chocolate and some tea, and I've tried some of the tea. It's wonderful. She sent me a little koala notions pouch, which is adorable. She sent me some handmade stitch markers, beaded stitch markers, and she sent me a skein of skein yarn. The color of this bad boy is Inner City. This is worsted 10 ply, 215 yards, superwash merino. I've been wanting to try out skein yarn for a while. I'm really excited about it. I will share the info in the show notes, but it's skeinyarn.com if you have never seen it and want to look that up. So I really love the colorway. This worsted yarn is going to probably become a hat of some sort, and I was excited. So yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. The other yarn that I got this week, not a typical purchase, but I get Fiberista Club yarn once a month typically, and this month they sent 2 skeins of Bulletproof Sock, Sweet Georgia. This is 437 yards. It is 50% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 15% kid mohair, and 15% silk. It's got a beautiful sheen to it. And this is the bison colorway. It's gorgeous. It's like a purple gray. It's like one of my favorite colors. I don't have any plans yet for this, but it's going to be something fantastic. I know it. So I'm really looking forward to knitting on this. And this is my first ever Sweet Georgia yarn, so I am so excited. Thank you, Fiberista. This is a good group club. If you want to join a yarn club, I highly recommend this one. I have tried a couple. I like the quality of the yarn that they send in the Fiberista. I love the luxury yarns that they send. I'm always very happy with the choices, and I don't believe I have a color preference, and they send me all kinds of different colors. This is fantastic, though. I'm so excited about this. So that's all I got for yarn. Coming next time, I will be talking about my order from Junk Yarn. I ordered another skein of Strong Sock in her Drew colorway, and I believe that's Drew Barrymore because she is one of my favorites. The yarn is a speckled yarn with yellow and white and black, and I think there's some pink speckles, so I'm really excited to get that. I placed an order online, and I will talk about this when it comes. I'm getting some tea from Taylor's, I believe it's Taylor's Teas. It's a UK-based company. I'm very excited about that. One of the flavors I chose was sweet rhubarb. That sounds amazing. I'm really excited. And I also got an English breakfast tea. I really love English breakfast tea. And I loved this one particularly because it comes in a tin. And if you don't know anything about me, I like to design jewelry using a lot of tin. Modern tin from tea tins, cookie tins, and vintage tins. All of it. Everything tin. I love it. So, I'm excited about that because it's got a beautiful pattern on it, and I imagine I will be cutting that up and putting it into some really fantastic jewelry. If you have a really good tin that you are interested in seeing memorialized in some jewelry, let me know. Ship it to me. I will cut it up for you and make something for you to show you an example of some things I made last week. I just got revitalized with tin a little bit. My friend came over and she picked out some tin. She wanted some earrings made. And so I made some for her, and then I made a couple of more for my store. But these are two of the styles that I really enjoy making. That's one style where I cut little discs and I link them together with jump rings. These are on a brass earring wire, and these I didn't want to leave the tin flat, so I domed them. So that's why they have that kind of nice curved look to them. So that's one style. And then the other style I do are these little layered discs. So these are actually 4 different size discs layered on top of each other in a smallest to largest, so that you get a peek of every tin on the edges. Really love those. So those are both in my store if you're interested in checking them out. I believe I put them on in my Etsy store. I can't remember now. If it's not in my Etsy store, it's on my website. So, yeah, so tea tins are always fun. If you don't always have room to keep all of your tins, jewelry made from the tins is always nice, because then you can kind of keep it and it doesn't take up as much space, and you can actually wear it and it's a nice little adornment. The other thing I ordered that I'm excited to try out, I am surprised I haven't heard anybody talk about these needles before, but I was looking through my magazine and I see this ad for this needle. They're, I believe, Japanese, and I'm not sure how to pronounce them. It's spelled K-N-I-N-A, so I don't know if that's Kanina or Nina, but these are swivel needles, circular needles. They're bamboo on a nice cord. I chose 40-inch, and they swivel at the join so that the cord doesn't get all tangled up. I think that's amazing. I can't wait to try them out. I did not order from the Tulip company. Tulip is the company that makes them. I ended up looking online and found that they are available on the Joann's website. So I ordered two sizes. I believe I ordered a 4 and a 6 to try out. And I'm excited to get them to see how they work. Doesn't look like the tips are really sharp, so I don't know that they'd be great for lace. But other, maybe sweater knitting and that kind of a thing, shawl knitting, they may be good. So I can't wait to review those when I get them. They weren't really that expensive. I believe I paid about $13 per needle. Maybe less than that. No, I think it was about $13. So that's all I've got for you today. It's kind of a, I don't even know if I've made it 30 minutes. No, I guess I have. I started at 9 o'clock and now it's 9:30. So thank you everyone for stopping in to hang out with me today. I'm going to go get this uploaded and get my butt into the studio to work because I have no money and I need to make some cash. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. I hope that you come back again. I know there are a lot of podcasters out there. I know that what I'm doing isn't that much different than what everybody else is doing right now. I know a lot of people they have a lot of knit-alongs they talk about, and a lot of swaps they talk about, and a lot of things they talk about that I don't typically participate in, so I don't have all that stuff. So I hope that the content that I have is good. If you have any suggestions on what you want me to talk about, if you want more tutorials, speaking of which, something I forgot to mention at the beginning, this is why I do have show notes, but for some reason I forgot to write this down. I want to show you how I knit and how I purl, just so you get an idea of why this whole knitting, purling, ribbing thing is tough for me. So at the very end of this video, I am going to insert a little video on how I knit and how I purl so that you can see how I do that. And you know, I'm always interested in seeing how people knit and how they hold the yarn and how their fingers move, and so if that's something that you want to see, you'll stick around and watch my videos, and if not, then you'll take off, and that's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But if you have any other suggestions on what you'd like to see in this podcast, please let me know. I am very open to suggestions. I will do everything in my power to make those things happen, and I just want you to keep coming back and to hang out with me, because it's really fun for me to do these podcasts. I just really enjoy it. I love talking about this stuff that I'm working on, and I want to make it interesting for you as well. So thank you again for coming over. Happy Monday. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see y'all on the flip side. All right, I'm going to show you how I purl here. So I don't know why I started purling this way. I think it might have had something to do with watching one of Stephen West's. Stephen West has a Craftsy class for shawl knitting. And I was watching at the very beginning of my knitting days last year, and I believe he might have showed some technique kind of like this. And I don't know if it's considered continental, because really I am holding the yarn in my left hand instead of doing it like I would if I was knitting, which this is normally how I hold the yarn when I'm knitting. But for some reason I can do it this way, but it's slow and tedious and awkward, and my tension is all off when I do it this way. My tension is way too loose. So here is how I normally do it, and I can usually get going pretty quick once I get it going. So I'm just throwing the yarn up over the needle as I go. And when I'm doing this on the back of a shawl or flat panel where the whole row is purling, it really ends up being a lot faster than if I was doing it by flicking the yarn with the yarn in my right hand. I'm trying to hold this in the view so you can see it a little bit better. There. You get the idea? I'm just going to do a couple more stitches here so you can see. It's a lot harder than it looks on the camera. So I got my camera on the tripod. I think you get the hang of it. So I really don't mind purling this way. I don't mind purling when I'm doing it this way. But as you can probably get, in order to do ribbing, I don't think I can do it that way. Okay, now I'm on the other side of my knitting. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do my knit stitches. So I am kind of flicking, kind of throwing, but as you can see, the rhythm is not there when I have to switch to purl. And for some reason I just can't get the hang of continental knitting. It just doesn't feel right to me. So anyway, I hope that these little videos are maybe, if not helpful, then just to kind of reiterate what I talk about when I'm having trouble with the ribbing. Maybe that will help you make more sense of that, I guess. But anyway, thanks for watching.